Hey everybody, it's Angela Molson352, and I have this Kaiser Craft Bundle of Joy Girl pack that I got from a Cherry on Top on sale, and I got both the boy and the girl collection pack. So I'm just going through it to see what pages I want to use out of this, and it has kind of a soft vintage baby feel to it. And so I decide that I want to use that floral for my background. And then here I'm looking at the sticker sheet. I don't have anything else to the collection, just the papers and that sticker sheet. And then I also have this chipboard piece from Saw at Saw Crafters called Mother and Daughter. So I'm going to use this as my title piece. And I like that it's chipboard and a little more sturdy than paper, so it's a little easier for me to work with. And I just love how intricate and delicate it is. So I'm just going here and punching out any of the little extra pieces. And I love the collection. Like I said, I don't have the ephemera pack, but luckily there's enough stuff in the paper that you can cut out that it gave me enough stuff to work with. So I'm kind of going back through, and here's the sheet. I'm going to use the back of these little cherubs to mount my photo because I don't really care for cherubs and angels very much. And then I love this vintage baby carriage and the vintage rocking horse. The little babies are cute too, although they seem a little yellowy brown to me for the collection. You know, if it had been me, I would have made them a little more pink complected. I don't know. That sounds weird or not, but so I just fussy cut these out, and then that gives me kind of like die cut pieces essentially to use with the collection. So now I'm looking back through the papers, and I love that music paper with the lullaby on it. And so I decide to, at first I almost matted it over there on the side, and then I remembered, no, I should probably cut out of the center so that I can use this piece of paper as a mat for a layout, and then also have some music paper to play with as mats for photos. And although I don't mat this layout on that note paper, I have it there for another time. And so I want to place my photo so that you can still read some of the lullaby on there. And so I kind of leave it tall on the top and bottom just so you can see the lyrics of the song. And then I'm matting it again on this pink damask. So those are going to be my layers, and I'm trying to keep it really soft and light. And I'm looking at how I'm going to place this, and I decide to go with my go-to diagonal placement on this one because it's just really comfortable for me and fun. So, and it always seems to come out looking nice to me. So I go ahead and I put the baby carriage at the top and just trim that off. I'm going to put the rocking horse at the bottom and the mother-daughter there more toward the center. And I look back at the sticker sheet, and they have some beautiful borders on there, and one of them is a big lace border. So I decide to go ahead and use that as something to kind of ground my photo, but I still want that mat to show through on the bottom with the lyrics. And then over the top of that, I'm going to put some of this floral because it brings in another pink. This is a much yellower pink border on here. So I just tuck that in, and that gives me a few more colors to work with. So now I'm going to put the rocking horse down there at the bottom. And I think about adding this heart, but it just doesn't look quite right with the title and stuff there. It takes away from the title too much. So I go with this little butterfly instead. And then, even though I like the clean lines of this, I was thinking I wanted it a little messier. So I do go and add some mixed media to it and some more little elements like these, which are Saw Crafters MDF pieces, and I have a bunch of these little baby ones that I've been kind of saving. But I pull out that treble clef and the note, and then as I'm playing with this and kind of setting everything down, I find that I really like the music notes because of that music note mat that I use, the lullaby mat. So I decide to take off the baby items and save those for another layout and just go with some music notes. So I pull out some more notes. So I'm going to go with more of a lullaby theme. And so I'm liking that. And I decide I'm going to paint them white and then maybe add some pink on there. I'm not sure yet. So I go to my stash and find my white acrylic, and then I have that light pink there next to it, but I thought I might look at a few more pinks that I've got. And so I pull those out, and that one looks orange, but it really is pink inside there. It's kind of deceiving. Yeah, not weird. And it's close, but in the end I went with this lighter one because the other ones just seemed too vibrant and I wanted this to stay really soft. So all I do is take these and just give them a good coat of white paint, and in the end I just dabbed a little bit of that baby pink on just in a few places. So here's where I take my gelato and decide to just kind of mess up the clean lines of this. I wanted something that would kind of be a little more organic feeling and a little more, I don't know, I say mixed media, but I think you know what I mean. Just something to kind of tie that band of embellishments together and bridge some of those elements that I've already put down. So I just use packaging and, direct to the paper and my finger to spread the gelato around. And I don't do a lot of it, just enough to give that subtle touch, just to make it all look a little softer and a little more vintage. And so now where it curled up from getting wet, I'm just going down and putting a little more adhesive under the corners. So now I take my hot glue and I start putting on my wood pieces. And like I said, they're mostly white. There's just little touches of that really soft baby pink that you might not be able to see on the screen. And then I start putting the mother and daughter down with hot glue. But because you kind of have to manipulate it to get it straight, and the hot glue dries so fast, I thought, no, I better pull this up and use wet glue for the rest of it so that I can have some time to manipulate it and make sure it's all straight and how I want it before it dries. So I just dab some on in different places, and then I can kind of make sure that it's not twisted, or it's how I want it. In the end, I don't think I get it perfectly straight, but it's straight enough. So now I take my hot glue and put in the rest of these music notes. And I'm really liking how it's coming together. And I knew from the beginning I wanted to put some paper flowers on this, so I go to my beautiful enamel bowl full of flowers and pull out all the small ones, and then I'm putting them in piles because they're all subtly different. So I want to see what I've got, and then I'm just going to take a few of each to put on here. So I put everything else away. I just keep out a few of each of the different kinds. And I think the flowers just add that vintage touch, that feminine touch, and it kind of ties things together. I don't know what it is about flowers. It's kind of actually hard to scrapbook without flowers sometimes, because they're such a good connector. So there I get them cut apart, and now I'm just looking how to place them. And I've got that kind of, groups of 3 thing going on again. The cluster at the top where the baby carriage is, and then I have the note and treble clef. I want to put some flowers around that and make sure that I don't cover up any of the music lyrics of the lullaby. And then my second cluster is where the mother and daughter title is. There's a note right above that, and then flowers. And then my bottom cluster is what I'm working on now with the rocking horse, the butterfly, and notes at the bottom. So I've loosely got 3 clusters in this diagonal band. So now I'm just I'm more like editing it, because I don't want it to get too many flowers on there and just look like, went crazy gluing flowers all over it. Like the old days when people stuck stickers all over, and at the beginning days of scrapbooking, and they would call it a sticker sneeze. I didn't want to have a flower sneeze on this layout. So I'm just trying to get enough to add color and to make it aesthetically pleasing and draw your eye down that diagonal path. So there we go. I get all the flowers on there. And I do want to mat this. I don't mat it on that music note paper. I want something a little darker. So I'm just trimming my layout down. And then I choose out of the paper pack a darker pink, because I thought it needed something a little bit darker to hold everything in. And that dark pink is the same pink I used for one of my matting layers on the photo. So now I'm just trying to get it on there straight. And then I kind of bend the edges up. I do go back at the very end and sew it all along there on my sewing machine. And I don't show that process. You'll see at the very end still photo that there is stitching on there. So yeah, after I stitch it, I kind of roll it up even a little bit more. So now I've gone back to the sticker sheet, and there's a butterfly border on that. And I decide that I want a few more butterflies, but I want them up on foam tape. My other one I just glued directly down to the paper. So these I want to have a little more texture. So I go ahead and put a little bit of dimensional foam behind them. And just place those so they're kind of fluttering around the layout. And then I'm looking at it, wondering if I'm done, so I affix a few things that are kind of coming up. And that is my completed layout. So I'm going to do a few close-ups here. So there's that top cluster with the baby carriage, music notes, the treble clef, butterfly, and flowers. You can still see the lyrics to the Rockabye Baby. Then here's the second cluster. You got a butterfly, more notes, and the title with some gelatos going along underneath. Got the rocking horse and another music note and butterfly, and all these soft pinks. And then, like I said, I do go and sew around the layout when it's done. So that is my finished layout. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.